Hi, my name's Katie O'Keefe, and I've been leading some research in partnership with Monash University into what makes great teams. This video will take you through why we've done the research and our findings at a high level to date. Before I dive in, I thought it would be worth sharing some definitions so we all understand what we're talking about to start with. Because in the world of team performance, even the definition of what is a team and what is a high performing team is often unclear, or people come at it with different perspectives. So, to start off, our definition of a team is a group of two or more people who have common goals and must work together to achieve these goals. Nothing more than that, nothing more complicated than that. And we really don't get caught up into this debate between a team or a work group. In our work and in our definition, if there's more than two of you, or there's two or more of you, and you're working together in pursuit of something, you are a team. A high performing team, or in our language, a top team, then has three very distinct and different outcomes. And it's very important when we're defining team performance that we bear in mind that a high performing team achieves all three of these things. The first is teams exist for a reason, to achieve their goals, to fulfill a purpose, and a high performing team successfully realizes its goals and achieves its purpose. Secondly, and where most models of team performance focus, is this group effectiveness. And in our definition, an effective group is one that can achieve more together than individuals can working alone. The third outcome, which defines a high performing team, is the individual. And the experience of the individual needs to be one in which it's a positive experience. We define that positive experience as I'm able to contribute my best to the team and I receive something in return: learning, growth, satisfaction, fulfillment. I receive something in return. So our approach to high performing teams, which is TopTeams, is a proven evidence-based approach to transforming teams into top teams that's enabled by a world-leading assessment and data-driven model. So from there, I'm just going to take a step back and talk you through why we did this work. So our ambition has been to define what makes a top team and to give our clients confidence that their teams can achieve high performance. The reality of the context in which we find ourselves is that teams are important. Businesses are built around teams. It's the primary unit of structure. Teams are where capability is built. Teams are where change happens. My experience as an individual working in my team is a key driver of my engagement and my satisfaction at work and my well-being. Teams are better, or can be better, at complex problem solving that requires creativity. So we know teams are important, yet our ability to make great teams remains elusive. We wanted to find a solution that was evidence-based, that we felt would give our clients confidence that if they take action, they will get a better outcome for their teams. Yet, how often have you participated in team building activities that are cringeworthy at best and damaging at worst? So when we went looking for a model, so our search to find something that we could use with our clients, we couldn't find anything we were actually happy with. What we found was a number of challenges. The first challenge is there's lots of popular models and approaches to high-performing teams. Lencioni is a great example. Everyone loves Lencioni. Everyone knows Lencioni. Yet when you get under the skin of those models, there is no evidence or data to support the model. And they all say something slightly different. So which one is right? So then when we went looking for evidence and data to support the models, we turned to academia. And when we went to academia, we found more challenges. So in academia, by its very nature, we need to minimize variables. So academic research is often too narrow. And when you get into how they do their research, they bring together groups of students at lunchtime to perform some random activity like building a bridge out of pasta. Yet we know in the real world, real teams work together over extended periods of time in pursuit of shared organizational goals that hopefully are meaningful and important. When you look at most models, both popular and academic as well, most models consider the team as an isolated unit. They don't actually consider factors outside of the team as important to team performance. Yet again, we know that teams in a working context are embedded within a larger organization that's embedded within a larger system. So that for us is what led us in 2018 to partner with Monash University in pursuit of an evidence-based approach to team performance that embraces the complexity of teams, that studies real teams in the context of their real work in the real world, and can give teams evidence-based answers and practical solutions on what to do. The exciting thing now is that having done this work for more than 7 years, we're now at a point where we do have a model and we do have some insights and findings to share. And they are interesting and they are surprising. And we hear that they're often a relief because they demystify team performance, they dispel a lot of popular myths, and they get back to really practical insights and actions. So the headlines for that we've found so far, our headline findings, are these 5 things. Teams are indeed complex. Context in which the team is embedded is critical. Performance, teams that perform are more likely to continue to perform in multiple dimensions. Processes are fundamental to team performance, and we need to focus on processes. Some are more important than others. And last of all, performance drives trust, not the other way around. So I'm going to work through each of these findings in turn. So the first finding, teams are complex. Our research shows that 18 factors of team performance are important in different ways. And our model explains between 60 and 80% of the variability in team performance. So another way of thinking about that is even with the complexity of our model and 18 factors, there's still 20 to 40% of team performance, which is unexplained by what we're looking at and what we've researched. In the area of social sciences, 60 to 80% of variability explained by your model is excellent. We are well beyond random, which sits at below 30%. So in terms of giving our clients confidence, we are highly confident that by working with our model and considering what you're doing well and what you need to be better at, you will definitely get insights into what to do and therefore how to improve. But we also know that there's still factors that are unexplained by our model. So our research is ongoing and we continue to look for more and different ideas about how we can consider team performance. Context is critical. So context, like a glass house, creates the condition for high performance. Building top teams starts with intentionally establishing and clarifying the context. And when we think of context, we think of it on 2 dimensions. The first is what is internal to the team. And internal to the team are the things that set us up to be a great team. And that includes the foundation of the team, which is why do we exist? What are our goals? How are we going to work together? Who's on the team? And what are our roles and responsibilities? So we've got this foundation and the composition of the team. On the other side, we then have the external context, and that is factors that sit outside of the immediate team that have a relationship and impact on our ability to perform as a team. And that external context falls into 3 factors: our stakeholders and the relationships we have with our stakeholders, the broader organization, which includes how well we understand how we fit in that broader organization, and the relationships we have with other teams and leaders in the organization. And then the external environment. So the organization itself is nested within an external environment. So how do we stay connected to the external environment and continue to monitor and consider how factors outside of the organization may affect the performance of our team? When we look at statistically how these factors relate to each other, we see some really interesting things. The internal and the external context are mutually reinforcing. So if I have a team that's well set up internally, I'm more likely then to have a better relationship externally. And the reverse holds true. If we understand our stakeholders, if we understand how we fit within the broader organization and the external environment, we're more likely to be well set up internally as a team. But why does context matter, and how does that drive team performance? Again, statistically, we see this really interesting outcome where the team is set up internally well, it drives the ability of a team to achieve its goals, and it drives the ability of the team to establish effective processes. Externally, we see a similar effect, that when we're well established in our external context, that is, we understand our stakeholders, we have good relationships with them, we have good relationships with the broader organization, we're more likely to have a positive individual experience, and we're more likely to establish effective processes in the team. So context, both internal and external, alone is a key driver of team performance, which brings us to our second finding, and that is that performance drives performance. Achieving your goals as a team will lead to greater effectiveness as a group. So where to start? Define your goals, work towards achieving them, and you are more likely to achieve more together than individuals can working alone. I shared this finding with a sports psychologist who said to me, absolutely, the worst place to be is a losing team's locker room. So you can see, and the reverse holds true. If you as a team aren't clear on your goals and aren't achieving your goals, then you are less likely to work together effectively as a group. So this has been a really interesting finding that when you think about it intuitively and from experience is potentially unsurprising. Which brings us to our third finding, which is processes and the critical role that processes play in being an effective team and working together effectively as a group. Processes drive performance. How you work together matters. Establishing intentional processes leads to improved performance as a group. And in our research, we found the processes fall into two categories. We've got 3 critical processes that directly drive this outcome of group effectiveness. And those 3 critical processes are accountability, which again is really unsurprising and in our experience is desperately lacking in organisations, particularly in Australia in our context. If you set your goals, how do you hold yourselves accountable to those goals? And then we've got these dual processes that are focused on task and people as 2 very distinct areas of focus. So team operations is our very task-related team processes. How do we guide the work of the team? How do we stay on track? How do we set priorities? How do we make decisions and solve problems? And then on the other side, we have this creative collaboration, which is a much more people-oriented set of processes. How do we seek perspectives? How do we integrate those perspectives? How do we have conflict? How do we look after each other and care for each other and step in and help each other out when needed? So these 3 critical processes together have the greatest effect on working together effectively as a group. And we've got 4 supporting processes that these processes drive our ability to be more effective at the top 3. And those 4 are: how do we develop our skills and coach each other as a group? How do we celebrate our successes? How do we inquire, which includes listening, questioning, and giving feedback? And how individually am I able to contribute within the team? So we've got these 3 critical processes that have a direct impact on group effectiveness, and we've got these 4 supporting processes that create the conditions and sort of support that environment for us to do those 3 harder things more effectively. The 5th finding, which is the one that is possibly a little bit controversial, but also relieving for a lot of people, which is that our data shows that when teams perform, then positive feelings like trust, inclusion, belonging, identity, and adaptability emerge, not the other way around. So what this means, if you notice your team feels broken, and this is why we think there's such a focus on things like trust, respect, value, because these are the things that you are most likely to notice are not present in your team. If you notice these things are missing, if you notice your team feels broken, then our model helps you to identify and act on the root cause, not the symptom. And this is where we think models like Lencioni has it wrong. Trust indeed may be the first thing you notice is broken, but it doesn't mean you fix trust in order to improve team performance. Our model, which again is statistically validated and these relationships are all statistically significant, suggests that trust emerges from when the team is performing, and team performance is driven by context and processes. So we're excited to share this model with you. We're really excited about the potential that this has to really help teams in the context of their real work be higher performing. And we're excited to work with you in the future. Thank you.